Hello, ladies. Oops.
Sorry, I've been playing with the soundboard. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode of the Daily Sports Port Podcast. I think it's episode 9 now. Yes, that is what it says on my script. As always, I am your host, Ian Pfaffenberger, back again today after a 2-week hiatus. It's been a long time. We got Izzy Beltran here back today with us, photo editor. Izzy, say hi.
Hello, everyone. I'm excited to be back on the podcast. We have a lot to cover, so I think it's the right time to be back. So thank you for having me back, Ian.
Yes, and then over there on down on the end is Carson Kelly. He's been a staff writer with us for this semester. He's been putting out great articles. Carson, say what's up.
Hello, and going green.
Yes, perfect. Let's go, Carson. As Izzy said, sorry about the delay in episodes. I was gone the week after the last episode, and then I was very sick last week, as a lot of people kind of were. My voice was gone. We were going to have an episode, us three. A lot of stuff happens, and we were just like, whatever. So we left it to this week, where there's a lot of stuff to talk about. Really fun. Obviously, UNT Football earned that first AP ranking since 1959, number 22, and they now control their own destiny to the American Conference Championship game and possibly the playoffs. We'll get into that first. Excuse me, I'm going to be coughing this episode. Volleyball went 4-3 since our last episode. They reached 20 wins and secured the 4th seed in the American Conference tournament. Soccer lost their must-win game. This was like 2 weeks ago, but they lost their must-win game to end the season. Big news out of that, though. John Hedlund announced his intention to retire following the 2026 season. And then our basketball team seasons have both gotten off to iffy starts, questionable starts, good but up and down starts, and we'll touch on that last. But without further ado, so much to talk about, gentlemen. Football. First off, let's celebrate because UNT is number 22 in the nation, baby. Whoop whoop.
I mean, come on.
Come on.
Big money. But yeah, first time since 1959. Coming off of 2 very important wins against both Navy and UAB. So now we're in contention for that and heading into Rice ranked. So exciting.
I was writing up the preview article for the game, and I was able to put number 22 North Texas football, and that felt so nice to put that in there.
To put it in context, I was doing research for a potential story that did not go through about getting in contact with a former player on that last ranked team. Right, yeah. The amount of obituaries I had to find. Someone died from Agent Orange, like. It's been so long since we've been ranked.
And literally, this is a generational season. Yeah. Like, since 1959, this stuff has not happened. Yeah, number 22 in the nation. Long overdue, honestly. I mean, like, I feel like we should have been ranked probably the week before last week. Yeah. I think Navy was just outside the cusp of that. After we had beat them, too. It's like, what the heck is that even about? But nonetheless, got that ranking. But some more controversy. Yesterday, the college football playoff rankings came out of the group of 5 leaders who, will probably make the playoffs. You got us, you got UNT. No, they're not ranked. Interesting. You got James Madison, 9-1. Are they ranked?
No.
No, they're not.
Nope.
Navy, 8-2. Their only 2 losses are to UNT and to Notre Dame, so not bad losses by any stretch. Are they ranked? No. Who's ranked then from the group of 5, you may ask? It's Tulane at 8-2, who suffered a blowout loss to UTSA. So a lot of controversy going on there. Guys, what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, the Green Wave just kind of building off last season. They beat us last season, sure. But, yeah, I think you mentioned that UTSA loss. I mean, we also, I guess, in context, lost to USF with that blowout at home. But it's very interesting for a team kind of like Tulane to be in that position, especially when we have, some of our strongest assets like Musamaker and Hawkins. And as well, we have, our strong record and stuff. So, very interesting stuff that came out yesterday. Justin Naw, our sports editor, he saw that, and then he literally left the office. He's like, wow, this happened. Like,
Really?
We're not on here, yeah. So, controversy for sure. But, Carson, how do you feel?
I mean, it's really – I think they need to figure out a way to figure this out because, like, having the AP poll – be different from the college ranking, college playoff poll is so weird because James Madison and UNT are both ranked ahead of Tulane. Mm-hmm. But to have Tulane in, even though they have North Texas higher than the AP poll, it just feels weird.
It is just weird because the like how it goes or the justification for Tulane being over is like they have quality wins, right? Because they've beaten Memphis. I think they have another quality one on their schedule. I don't quite remember. But that's the justification for them being over us because we have a lower strength of schedule, obviously. Why are we getting punished for having a lower strength of schedule? Like, sorry, we're beating these teams by 30-plus points. Isn't that kind of what we're supposed to do? Right. We have a win over Navy. And the thing that I think should be the only deciding factor is we beat UTSA, killed them like 55-17. I think the score was. They lost to UTSA. I don't know why that isn't the one deciding factor for where they rank us versus Tulane. And the fact they're 23 and we're not even in the top 25 is mind-boggling to me. I don't know what the justification behind that is.
Yeah, and I mean, also just in the beginning of the season when we played, Washington State, which notably, a bigger team also to add to our victories amongst other things. So I just don't get
they
it.
kept it close with Ole Miss, who blew out Tulane, actually. So that should be something else that goes on our resume. You're right, yeah.
I mean, it's just weird. If you look at the conference standings, like, UNT is ahead of Tulane.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, they're only behind Navy because Navy's played one more conference game.
Yeah.
Literally, yes. The American is it's very confusing right now.
Yeah.
There is like a Navy is technically in first, and then there's the three-way tie for second between all of them because it goes by conference record. But nonetheless, when it just comes down to the rankings and the strength of schedule and all that, I don't think Tulane deserves to be ahead of us. I think North Texas is the best Group of 5 conference team. That's not even pushing it. So obviously a lot of controversy on that. Twitter was blowing up whenever those rankings came out. Not even from UNT fans, just of people. Like, why the heck is that even a thing? So we're getting support from other people. And the James Madison hate is off the chart too.
Oh my God. The amount of people I've seen on Twitter, I didn't know James Madison had that many alumni. But guess what? They're all on Twitter, I guess.
Everyone's on Twitter.
Yeah.
It's a war zone.
Yeah, I think the biggest conclusion, like, this is going to motivate the Mean Green even more. It's like, we don't got to prove ourselves on, the poll. Like, yes, we're good on the AP poll, but not the college football playoff poll. So they're going to use that motivation for these last 2 games for sure. Because, rankings matter because you're putting yourself out there. And we're in the AP poll. We're not in the college football playoff poll, which we should be. But I know a lot of the players are going to use that as motivation for sure to prove themselves against Rice and Temple. So
that hasn't even been a goal so they say. Obviously, it's a goal to win, but to earn the ranking, whenever we ask them that in press conferences, like, nah, it's not something we really care about because Morris said it best in one of his quotes. He said it's just a number, and it's not going to help us beat Rice, and that's what the team's goal has been. It's kind of a cliche at this point, but but that is just the ranking for this week. New polls come out every week, obviously, and I think if UNT wins next week, they will be in eventually because they are 10-1 at that point and will be probably leading the conference. Who does Navy plays Memphis next week, right?
yes,
Or is it South? No, they just beat South Florida. They do play Memphis next week, so that'll be a very interesting game. Memphis is basically effectively out of the race at this point. They have 3 conference losses now, I think, which is kind of crazy. They just lost to ECU, who looks kind of scary. I'm not gonna lie. They are an underdog. They're a dark horse. They've been down underneath all the big teams. Understandably so, because you have UNT, you have Navy, South Florida, kind of in the middle of the season. They've been like in that 5th and 6th spot. They're 5-1 in conference right now. They have a crazy home environment. They sell out all their games. Their defense is tough. They currently are statistically the best defense in the American. They only allow 18 points a game. So that's a tough team right there. And if things end up being weird and people keep getting upset, that could be a team that UNT has to face in the American Conference Championship where UNT would win out. And I don't know about y'all, but that's a little scary to me.
Yeah, so like you mentioned, East Carolina were just winning their games, having good performances, and then now they're in the picture, and now teams like, Memphis, who were ranked at one point and as well in that, contention, are kind of out. So the American is just crazy right now as well.
Mm-hmm.
So something for, UNT to kind of circle, be like, we might play the Pirates. So keeping that in mind. So,
I mean, since they've only lost 1 time in conference, and that was in October 9th against Tulane.
Wow.
And since then, they've rattled off 4 in a row, and, like, they destroyed Army, destroyed Tulsa, destroyed Charlotte, destroyed Temple. They barely beat Memphis, but, like, they are just getting better and better, especially if you look at the early season. Like, they got destroyed by BYU, and I think that was a gut punch for them.
What is Robert Downey Jr. saying to Oppenheimer? Power flies too close to the sun, gets burned. Real power stays in the shadows. It's quite literally what ECU has been doing this season. Okay, so they lost to Tulane.
Yes.
Okay, so Tulane is the head-to-head. So were both of them to win out, Tulane would still be ranked ahead of them. But if Tulane suffers a loss and Navy suffers a loss, bada bing, bada boom.
I mean, who does Tulane play this week?
They play, I think they are probably winning out as well.
Oh, they play Temple.
Oh, Should be a win. Temple almost upset Navy earlier, and then they play Charlotte. They have Temple and Charlotte to end the season, so
Yeah.
it's pretty favorable there. Pretty nice for them. And then Navy, of course, also an option. They play, but they have another obviously super tough schedule. They play Memphis this week. Wasn't looked as strong, but then they play Army, of course, in the Army and Navy game. Always a rivalry, so you never know who's going to win that one. But as it stands right now, I think if the Mean Green win out, they have a spot in the championship game. So don't worry about what these other teams are doing. All you have to do is beat Rice and then go in and beat Temple at home, which you should be able to do.
Yeah.
And then you're in the championship game. And if you win that, playoffs
Playoffs?
question mark. That's crazy to think about.
Yeah, if you told me when we beat Washington State at home that we're potentially going to be in the playoffs, especially with the teams that we've been projected to play, your Alabamas, your UTs and stuff, I would have not believed you. But I mean,
we're going to get wiped round one. I mean, whoever we play. So I hope we play an ACC team.
That'd be nice.
We'll get into that in a second.
But I mean, you made it to the playoffs. Playoffs.
That's the
We're talking
goal.
about playoffs.
Yeah. I mean, are you joking?
Like playoffs? No, but
I mean, Drew Mestemaker is going to start a playoff game before Arch Manning.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
He's going to replace Arch Manning on that Texas roster
as a
next
red
year.
shirt freshman.
As
well.
a red
Keep
shirt
that in
freshman.
mind.
His first season under center. Let's get into these players real quick. We got 2 games to cover. They played Navy, had a bye week, and then UAB. Luckily, we didn't miss 3 games, or else I'd just be overwhelmed with stats here. But our spotlight athlete of the week here, Caleb freaking Hawkins, baby. In both games, against Navy, 33 carries, 197 rush yards, 4 touchdowns. Against UAB, 27 carries, 189 rush yards, and 5 touchdowns. Got the American Conference Offensive Player of the Week this last week. In case y'all can't do math at home, that is 9 touchdowns in 2 games. Bro, need it. I don't even know what to say at this point. I think earlier on one of these earlier episodes, I think it was with Haley Stump. She went, he's a dog, a capital D. That is so true.
Yeah, it still reigns true. I mean, he's going out there, scoring all these touchdowns, getting all these honors and all these yards. Him and Messemaker really figured it out. I know that's Messemaker's go-to guy now. Because in the beginning they were kind of testing out the different people.
Mm-hmm.
You had your McGills and Sibley and everyone amongst that that room. But yeah, Caleb Hawkins just game after game keeps getting better. And again, this is another freshman, so it's just crazy.
So yeah, because coming into the season, if y'all remember, it was just as these Eric Morris offenses go, is just a by committee running back room, because you're bringing back Mackenzie McGill, who had 10 touchdowns last year on his own, which is a great number. It's very respectable. And he was going to kind of be your lead back, but not really the bell cow like Hawkins is now. You were bringing in McGill. They're really high on Hawkins from camp. Apparently, his first rep ever on the team, like in the scrimmage, was a 65-yard rushing touchdown. The first snap he ever took in a Mean Green uniform in practice was a 65-yard rushing touchdown. So they were already high on him coming into the season. You had Kiefer Sibley, who obviously had great games last year, and he's had good flashes this year. You had Jaden Bex. He hasn't even played really that much, but he's also a solid back end of his own. So the plan coming into the season was for it to really be a by-committee thing, but he is just taking over. And Morris doesn't give out, he doesn't give out free passes. You have to earn it. And slowly, as these weeks have gone on, Hawkins has paced the running back room in carries. He had 33 against Navy and then 27 against UAB, which is far and away leading the team. And the other backs aren't really, they're losing their snap share percentage, which you usually really normally don't see happen in an Eric Morris offense. And it's also kind of been the same for, sorry, Carson, I know you want to speak. And it's also kind of been the same for the receiver room, too. It is very much so you spread the ball out.
Yeah.
But kind of as these last weeks have gone, and you see the emergence of Wyatt Young, and he had over 100 yards last week. He's like top 5 in the American in a lot of receiving categories. So you see the emergence of that trio in Mestemaker, Hawkins, and Young, which normally isn't something that happens in an Eric Morris offense, but they've been carrying it for sure. Young guys too, so it's been awesome to watch.
I mean, if you look at both Wyatt Young and Caleb Hawkins, like Caleb Hawkins had 13 carries the first 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And since then, he has not had less than 13. And he's like, he had 1 touchdown that second game against Washington State. But since then, he has 15 touchdowns. He's 16 total in the year, which is second in the whole entire country.
Yeah, he has 933 rushing yards, I think. Let me pull up the stats here real quick. 933 rush yards, 16 touchdowns, rushing touchdowns, which is second nationally. He's also tied first in total touchdowns nationally over the country. So we're not even talking about best freshman running back, obviously. Like, that's not even a debate, but just one of the best backs in football, pound for pound across the divisions. And that, like you said, Carson, is without him even touching the rock in the first 2 games. He didn't even start. Mackenzie McGill was the starting back there. So needless to say, he's probably gone next year. All that to say, we'll save all that talk again for a later episode. But yeah, and these awards rolling in. Mestemaker is a finalist for the Sean Alexander Freshman of the Year Award, the Walter Camp Award, Davey O'Brien Award, Bolesworth Awards. I'm so sorry, I'm coughing so much.
And he was, if you guys saw, he was on SportsCenter yesterday.
Oh yeah, I watched
11:30
that
at
clip.
night.
Yeah, and he was on the Rich Eisen show like last week, and John Gruden shouted him out on X.
Oh man, if you guys literally search up John Gruden and look at the Mean Green care package that he got, I love that video so much. He was so hyped. But yeah, Messmaker is on quite the PR run, and then everyone's gonna keep talking about his high school career and everything. But yeah,
you know what made me mad the other day? I was watching an Instagram reel about Mestemaker, of course. And have you seen that video of him training with Mahomes' quarterback coach? And he's calling like the next Tom Brady. Yeah. It's these 2 guys like on a podcast talking about it, and they can't even pronounce his last name. They say like Mestemaker. Like, why are you talking about our quarterback if you can't even pronounce his last name, bro? And they're talking about like, oh, where's he gonna go next year? Where's he gonna go next year? That's what ESPN loves to do. Oh, look at this group of 5 standout player. Where is he gonna be in the SEC next year? It's like, really?
And then the main photos like Caleb Hawkins. We're like, dude, like, come on.
Yeah, they did the same thing with Caleb Hawkins. Like, this guy has 5 touchdowns today. Where is he gonna be next year? Like, he's gonna be here. Come on, good man. I know he's not gonna be here, but it's like, give me some hope. Come on now.
And I think the players probably, Moore says they don't like to see that stuff, but they do see that stuff.
Yeah.
Like, when you're a Mestemaker and you see, like, ooh, I could go to this school maybe want me. Like, I think he follows Morris probably if Morris leaves to.
Yeah, no, I think, if we're going to get into that topic, yes.
But, seeing that, like, you're like, oh, I can get this much money at this school. And, like, he believes in himself. He can think that, like, oh, I can make it here. So that stuff goes into his mind probably. And
getting onto that topic, I mean, realistically for you, UNT fan, I mean, you brought in 68 new transfers last year, and you went 6-7 at the end of the season last year. Sorry, Izzy. I'll stop. But you brought in an entirely new team. I mean, what's going to happen now that you might finish the season 11-1, and you have all this publicity and all these players are going? So, I think if Morris were to get a new job, which he is the betting favorite to land that job at Oklahoma State right now, Mestemaker definitely follows with him. That's what Cam Ward did when.
That's right.
Yeah, when Morris went to Washington State, he followed him from Incarnate Word. Just the thing, quarterbacks stick with Morris because he tailors to their strengths. So especially if it's a college right up the road at Oklahoma State, I think Mestemaker definitely follows him there. Same thing with Hawkins. He's from Shawnee, Oklahoma. Yeah. He'd be going back close to home. And also Oklahoma State, just fired Mike Gundy, but a historic program. They've had success over the last decade or so. So Morris would be able to rebuild that. He'd come in with an extremely potent offense already. So I'm sure he'd get a ton of transfers. But also at the same time with that publicity, North Texas at the start of the year was just a stepping stone, right? Like if you rose to prominence here, you'd go transfer somewhere else. But now we've kind of established ourselves as a football school, maybe, this Eric Morris era, we have all these good players. Maybe you want to stick here because now we're known as a good school. We can contend in the American. We know we can contend in the American. We maybe could make the playoffs. Why wouldn't you want to come to a school like that, right? So that's the duality of it all. We'll see how it shakes out at the end of the year, but it's just my 2 cents.
No, that's a good point. And, I mean, right now it's, recruiting season, so anyone that we might, once the portal opens, of course, but any high school prospects and stuff as well that we could, that can be brought into the program because they're going to look at North Texas now, they might offer and they're like, oh, well, to school in Denton, but now they're like, oh, but this is the school in Denton that's 9-1, ranked 22nd. They have that Mestemaker guy, that Hawkins guy. It's kind of appetizing to go there, and they have a great coach as well. So now you make a good point, Ian, about that. UNT's in the spotlight right now.
Yeah, and even if you see this personnel all leave, which at this point, I wouldn't even be mad about because it's not even the thing you're like, oh, it's just the modern day football is poaching all these younger schools. No, this would happen in any year of college football that our personnel leaves because they've been so successful. But I think you would see a good influx of a new head coach that's really good and and a prominent coach, and then you get a good influx of players. It wouldn't just be a complete rebuild where we are not good at football next year. I think you could probably supplement, not have as good of a team, but you could probably supplement the people you lose with better players. That's exciting stuff. But
I mean, the hardest thing is to get the production on the field. Like, it's easier to get funding and resources, but it's hard to get the production and be this good on the field, and they have that. And I think the funding and resources come afterwards, and I think some recruits might see that, be like, oh, they have this now. Calling it history is too soon probably, but they have this 1 year, like, they were really good, and they might get better and better as resources, because UNT's not a small school.
Yeah.
Like, where's the NIL? Where's the funding? And I think on the field, if it stays sort of like this, then the funding will start coming more and more, and that will allow more and more recruits to be like, maybe North Texas is on my radar now.
That's a good segue into a little promo. The SGA approved that student athletic fee increase, and now everyone can vote on it. I know Izzy here voted on it. Yeah. I still have yet to go do that, but I think the official proposal is it increases to $22 next year for the 2026-2027 year.
I believe so.
Yeah.
Yes.
Per credit hour. So it's not just $22 total. It's per, if you take 15 hours, I don't want to do math right now, but 22 times 15, that's how much you pay. And then it increases up until like 2030 or something like that. But that, if you're looking for this football team to keep being successful, that is one of the keys, because like 90-something% of our funding for sports comes from student fees. Not from donations, not from NIL. We don't got donors like that, or we do, but they don't donate yet. Portillo's, baby. Or Stone Cold Steve Austin with the racks, man.
Right.
Dr. Phil, where is he?
Dr. Phil, exactly. So
Or
many
that
people.
TikTok star. There's a TikTok star that they're.
They tweet about her.
What's her name? Madison something, right? Yeah, I've had her videos pop up on Instagram. I didn't know she went to UNT. She was like a broadcast journalism major.
Oh,
Crazy.
Get her on the pod.
I know. I'm so surprised we haven't had a Stone Cold Steve Austin come out yet, or cameo, because he played football here, and obviously he's a big name. The WWE he'd match with wrestling. Well, we literally do his celebration. I'm surprised he hasn't come out to a game or anything. But, yeah.
Maybe he'll be there on Black Friday for Temple.
Maybe. The woes of Denton, America, I guess.
I swear, it would be nice to have him for the playoff game, but if he's like in Lubbock for the first playoff game, and it's like, we've had this great year, and you show up to Lubbock.
He shows up to us playing Tech.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Oh, yeah. Realistically, if we were the 12 seed, we probably would be playing Tech.
That's what the projection right now is.
Yeah. That's a matchup that's very scary. Tech's defense is so good.
Yep, and we saw last year when we played out in Lubbock, and what happened there.
I was at that game.
You were at that game?
Yeah, I drove, stayed at a friend's house.
Wow.
Yeah, we drove there, stayed on my friend's couch, and woke up early morning,
and left
over by the first quarter.
Yeah. Left by the first quarter, yeah.
But that, we're
it's not going to happen this year.
Yeah, Justin Naw put it best. Yes, we might lose, but we won't lose as bad, which I agree with.
Yeah, I mean,
agree with.
Realistically, that's the harp on the new 12 seed format.
Yeah.
Is you bring in a group of 5 team who's just going to get absolutely wiped. That's what happened to Boise State last year. But it offers a chance for the fans to get excited. Oh, I'm hyped. Like, I don't care about losing because we probably are going to lose, right? I mean, it's not even a fact of like, oh, we're just not good enough. It's just more of a like recruiting process, right? I mean, Tech is already the mogul of NIL that they are. They got that oil money. They pay everyone. So they're able to recruit and pay the best of the best athletes in college football. And here in Denton, for the first year we've been successful, obviously you don't have that level of just like size and players that we can't have. Obviously for the American Conference it works great. We have the players and we have the size, but just overall, if you go up against Tech pound for pound, 4 quarters, probably not gonna last for a full game. But it'd just be fun to get there.
Yeah. I will say Tech scares me.
Yeah,
because that defense is legit.
Jacob Rodriguez.
But Eric Morse is a good offensive mind. Like, another matchup, UNT might be able to win. I don't think they win against Tech because that defense is.
Yeah,
it should give them nightmares. But you know what I mean? Like another like a worst like maybe Ole Miss.
Oh, Ole Miss too. I would want to play an ACC team if we were, but the problem is the ACC is bad enough. They're not going to be ranked as high as a 5 seed.
I mean, they're only get one person in. That might
Yeah,
be Miami.
It'll probably be Miami. Yeah, probably not Georgia Tech. Well, we'll see.
Yeah.
It's Miami projected right now, though, right?
Yeah. I think so.
Because the way it works, the 5 highest ranked conference winners get into the playoffs, but they don't get the highest. They don't get the 1 through 5 seeds.
No.
The seeding is just based off how good you are. So as it stands right now, it'll be Ohio State, Indiana, A&M, Georgia, and then Tech is the 5th seed right now. So the ACC's been a little rough this year, so they're probably not going to get higher than that 7th or 8th seed. So UNT will probably be stuck facing someone like Ole Miss, Georgia, Tech. One of those schools like that that'll definitely give us a run for our money.
But I think there's kind of beauty in that. You know, we have a small team like UNT playing a big team. I mean, just to make it there again, set the stage wherever we got to go. Hopefully, we do make the playoffs. It'd top off the historical season, win or lose. I mean,
wherever we go, I'm going.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Unless it's maybe Oregon. It's kind of a long drive or kind of a long flight. Shoot, I'd buy tickets. Who knows? I'd buy plane tickets. I mean, who knows if we're gonna make the playoffs again, right? I mean, what a time to be a UNT football fan.
Yeah.
You might go 11-1, maybe make the playoffs. What a time to be covering it.
I mean,
Lucky.
if they make the playoffs, they'll be making the playoffs before so many other programs. Like,
Yeah.
that'll be crazy.
I know. Yeah.
Like, we're gonna make the playoffs before like Colorado or like
Before Coach Prime, man.
before Coach Prime and all that money and like that would be insane. Especially like the SEC schools, where they're all like, "Oh, we're big bad SEC," which I kind of do believe because I'm a Texas fan. But you know what I mean? Like UNT making it before so many other schools would be insane.
I hope so.
I hope so. It's looking like that. They go to take on Rice this Saturday. Another triple option team in the American, the third one, and then the third one UNT is going to face subsequently. But they have not been anything special so far this year. They what did they lose to? They lost to someone crazy. What am I typing? Rice schedule. That's the word, Ian. They lost to barely beat UConn. They lost to. My gosh, I'm losing it. Oh yeah, they got blown out by UTSA, 61-13, and then we blew out UTSA 55-17. So last 2 games shouldn't be anything to worry about for UNT. Just take care of business, and then you'll find yourself in the American Conference Championship game, and that is when it starts to get real. You got to lock in. You got to play that game. Hopefully it's hosted here. That environment's going to be nuts. It's going to be hopefully better than South Florida. Some big news for this team. An update. Shane Witter went down in that Navy game, number 7 linebacker. He's been a star on the defense all season. He came into that Navy game leading the team in tackles. He is out for the rest of the season. Suffered that knee injury. Coach Morris confirmed it yesterday. Suffered that knee injury against Navy. So big loss for that defense. But we're still able to force 4 turnovers against UAB. So still looking solid, but something to keep an eye out when these bigger games start to rise up. But yeah.
Yeah, and just to quickly talk about Witter, I mean, we wrote a feature on him. Great player. So it's unfortunate that his season, and I believe his career.
Yeah. I think this is 6th year.
Yeah, his career comes to an end like that. But plenty of people that have taken, inspiration from Witter or that have worked with him in practice. And, it's in the defense, so they have good coaches that can help fill in those gaps as a team with, these types of players always do.
Yeah. You've still got Trey Fields, Ethan Wisłowski back there who've both been like crazy this season. So nothing, obviously it's a huge loss, but nothing they can't remedy. So last 2 weeks of the season should be fun. Kind of been going off on a rant here. Last 2 weeks of the season should be fun. Over Thanksgiving break. So sit down, watch that, and then American Conference Championship game time, hopefully. Yeah. Anything else to talk about football for you guys? Any other thoughts rattling in your brain? Just kind of spitballing there.
I think that was, about everything.
Can't really talk about more until the games actually get
Yeah,
played.
exactly. Jam, you better not make it. All right, moving into volleyball. They capped off a historic season under a first season under head coach Dave Fleming. Played fantastic defense throughout the season. They led the American in opponent hitting percentage at just 167 and total blocks at 404. Loredana Fungi, who is a senior, not a junior, been saying she's a junior, but she was trotted out on senior day, so it looks like she's leaving the team after this year. Sucks. But she finished first in blocks in the American. Reagan Bedell finished first in service aces, and the team reached 20 wins against Temple for just the 9th time in program history and for the first time since 2017. Izzy, I know you went to some volleyball games. Carson, you went to some volleyball games.
Yes, I did.
Yeah. Just to start the season, you did not expect a single thing out of this volleyball team because everyone is outside of like the 4 seniors they had and the 2 that get playing time, basically, who play a majority of the sets. Everyone is a freshman or sophomore. You have a new head coach. You lost all of your heavy hitters. Shout out to Ruben Placenci's article. He basically wrote about the historic milestone of reaching 20 wins. And in that article, he talks about how they lost Peyton Van Veen last year and Claire DeWine, who coming into the season should have been their main offensive weapons, but they both ended up transferring out. Yeah. So you come into the season not having anything. You have no offensive firepower, really. And that's been what they've had to work around. And they reached 20 wins because of it. Dave Fleming implemented a system that prioritizes the middle blockers, that allows the pin hitters to get going. I'm pretty sure that's what it said. Read Ruben's article because he explained it better than me. But, I mean, yeah, projected to finish second to last, and they ended up as the 4th seed in the American Conference tournament. So, fantastic for them.
Yeah, and Dave Fleming, just an incredible coach for everything that he's managed to do in year 1. Like, this is literally year 1. So, for him to come into this new team with all these new players and building that culture as soon as possible and then capping it off with a winning season in the American, which – yeah, like you mentioned, we were projected in the bottom, but we were putting up good fights against some of the bigger teams. You know, your Rices, amongst other teams, and this volleyball team is full of grit. The never back down mentality that Dave is very vocal about during the game. So, just incredible season all around for them to, the 20 wins and everything, just insane.
I mean, I went to that Rice game last Sunday, and I think they had the lead in 3 of the first 3 sets, like halfway through. They won set 2, obviously. And then set 4, which they lost, they were down like 10 at one point, and they came back and they made it 4-point. And it's like you can see the confidence. Like, Coach Fleming still has problems with this team going into the tournament. Like, he obviously will because he's head coach. But he just views his team as confident, and they're playing for each other and playing with each other, and that's a big mindset to have for a first-year coach like Coach Fleming.
Mm-hmm. And kind of going a little bit towards a different topic here, but I'm just looking at the awards that were won last year, and I feel like Dave Fleming should be the front runner for Coach of the Year, like the easy candidate for that. And then you have your players who stuck out. Obviously, Alexa Washington, she recorded 2 more triple doubles. Yes. In the last 2 games, right, of the season. So
last game she did confirmed.
Yeah, and I think she got another back-to-back set.
Oh.
I think the last 2 games of the season she got
4 on the year or 3.
Yeah,
on the year?
4 on the year. So I had notes on that somewhere. She became she posted back-to-back triple doubles for the 2nd time. She became the first player in program history with over 100 kills, 500 assists, and 300 digs in a season. Is also only one of 6 players in D1 this year to join that club. So she probably has a shot at a first-team all-conference type of thing. Loredana Fungi, obviously led the conference in blocks, has a shot at that. Dakota Mitchell's been all over the floor. I think she was like 8th in digs in the conference. Probably an all-freshman team nod there. So a all-around team effort, too, because in that Ruben article, also, they don't have a single player who's in the top 10 in points in the American, but yet they're like top 5 as a team in points in the American. So everyone gets involved. Man, I need to stop talking. Everyone gets involved. It's a big proponent of that Fleming philosophy. And, yeah, now they're the 4th seed in the tournament, taking on Wichita State, that 5th seed, who they beat earlier this year. Yes. But if they move on from that, they'll probably have to play Rice again for the 3rd time. Who's the 1 seed? Rice very good this year.
15-1 in conference.
Yeah, right. I think they were regular season champions last year before a chaotic tournament, a volleyball tournament last year, where I think ECU won it as the 6th seed. But UNT has a good shot round 1, beating Wichita State. They played them obviously already, but once they get to that 2nd round, Rice is a little harder. But they've seen them 2 times now, so it should be an interesting matchup.
And this team has, like you mentioned, Mitchell, who's a freshman libero, and then you have Alexa Washington, who is a senior, I believe, junior.
Yes,
Senior.
Senior. So it ranges from new to playing at this level to people who have experience playing this level, and I think that shows that it's not about selfish or being selfish. It's all the selflessness of this team. Everyone gets minutes. Everyone has their moments and opportunities, and they can all gel no matter who's playing at what time for sure. So and that stems from all the work that they put in practice, all the work that Fleming has done behind the scenes for sure. This team has been really fun to watch this season. Like this season especially, I was like always looking at how the scores were going. How I went to a couple games because this is a fun team, and the volleyball center was rocking all year. It was packed like all year as well.
I mean, for being so small, it adds to the atmosphere. It's insane.
I think that's the best probably environment in the American, because the rest of the schools, they just play in their like practice gyms or the basketball teams practice. So it's a big space. Obviously, it doesn't get filled all the way. They had like 4 back-to-back sellouts this year. The UNT team did. So that environment gets.
I mean, last game it was senior day. I was standing room only. Like I had to stand the whole game because I got there like 20
you should have
minutes.
flashed your pass, been like, nah, I'm sitting.
Well, I couldn't get a seat. Like I went around. I'm like, damn, I have to find a corner to sit or like stand in, and I got there 20 minutes early.
That's crazy.
And then like after one set, there was like 5 rows in that corner, and it was like it's just like that. Like no disrespect to basketball, I love the basketball teams here. They don't get that, and I think that's a testament to the team and just the atmosphere that they're able to create at the volleyball center.
Volleyball is you can tell it's very like family oriented because you have alumni that stay supporting, players past and present that always go to the games, and then just the family, and then especially like you mentioned with senior day, so you add that on as well. But Coach Fleming said in his first game at home that it's one of the best environments he's played in, and for them to keep playing well for the fans, and the fans showed up all season, and I think genuinely that atmosphere, stadium pulse just creates a stadium pulse for opponents. So the volleyball center was quite the atmosphere.
Mm-hmm. And obviously, you mentioned those seniors. Alexa Washington, big loss there. She's kind of been the heart of the team this year. Has those triple doubles. She's kind of been all over the court, just doing stuff. Fungi, obviously, huge presence in the middle. Led the conference in blocks. Probably the biggest proponent of what has led the defense to be so successful, leading the American Conference in opponent hitting percentage. You lose them, so big losses there. But outside of that, you really don't lose anyone else unless they all decide to enter the transfer portal. I don't really know how that works for volleyball, but I mean, you're bringing back a great core. You're bringing back Bedell, led your team in kills. I think Croshaw, who are your Bedell and Croshaw are your 2 biggest offensive proponents. Mitchell, obviously, you have Sydney Sore, who's kind of being bred to be the successor to Alexa Washington.
Second on the team in assists behind Alexa Washington.
Yeah. You bring back Ryan Vick, who was injured for a majority of this year, but she's a great middle blocker in and of herself.
Addison Achilles, Alessandra Romo, Mitchell, like we talked about.
Dakota Mitchell.
I mean, just to have that player still on the team running around as liberos do, very important.
You bring back a great core, and not even just for like this next year, but like 2 years, because some of them are most of them are sophomores or freshmen.
Yeah.
So, I mean, for it being the first year of this team, that was kind of supposed to be an experiment. And then if it didn't work out, I'm sure Fleming probably would have brought in people to run a scheme that he wanted to run. For it to work so well, and then have all these pieces come back, it was great. I'm sure they'll bring back all of them because they all love Fleming. Every post I see of Fleming, he's being so goofy. They posted something on X about like they'd made shirts of him and like another coach, and like in all the pictures he's just making goofy faces.
Or like the Halloween post they had.
Yeah. And I know like sports coaches can be overbearing and aggressive sometimes. He doesn't seem like that. He just seems like a dad. He's a dad out there coaching him to play volleyball.
When you watch him on the sideline, he's very intense.
Oh, yeah.
Like, his face is very intense. But then you see him walk up to players and, like, give them high fives and go crazy when they do something well. And it's like, that's the coach you want to play for.
Yeah.
Someone who has the intensity to instill that mindset that you can win, and someone that actually cares for you as a person. That's why they've won, like, 21 games this year.
Yeah. 21 games? Yeah, 21-8, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. 9th time in program history, first time since 2017. In a first year where you don't know what to expect. You're basically experimenting with your offense and with your entire team. Your team is young. All of the odds are stacked against them this year, and they were able to have a 4th place finish and might get a victory round 1 of the tournament. Last year in the tournament, they were the 7th seed, and I think fell to Rice, who was the 2nd seed. So to have that success, once again, just huge. It's great.
Yep.
It's great for this team. And it'll be fun to watch over the next coming seasons as well. When do they play? When is the American? It's this Friday, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
In Florida.
In Florida, yeah. Tournament's happening in Florida. They play this Friday. But then that season is over, so these fall sports kind of wrapping up. But a great season from volleyball, too, to pair with football. It's been a good fall season there. Heading into a not-so-great fall season, though, we got women's soccer. 2 weeks, well, I guess 1 week and 6 days ago to the day, they lost their must-win game against UAB 3-2, effectively knocking them out of American Conference tournament contention. It was kind of an up-and-down season for them, I guess, to say the least. They had things that could have gone their way, but it didn't happen. They had some success, though. Mia Bernard kind of led the team offensively. She's been the heart and soul of the team this year, kind of like Alexa Washington has been for volleyball. She won 2nd team all-conference. Lillian Vanderveer won all-conference freshman team, so a couple good accolades there. But overall, it's kind of a sadly disappointing season for that. And then an announcement we all kind of saw coming. John Hedlund announced his intention to retire following next season, 2026. So he's running it back. 2026 is going to be that farewell tour for Hedlund. But Izzy, I know you photograph soccer a lot. What do you think about that move?
Yeah, so the first time I was on this podcast was to talk about soccer, and then it was up and down, and now that it's over, I can really, collect my thoughts and just be honest about this team. So,
Be honest.
yeah, an unfortunate season for North Texas women's soccer, especially when you think about them and how successful they've been with their 16 championships and everything that they've done. But with Hedlund retiring after next season, that's going to be it's going to be the biggest motivation for this team. They lost a couple of important seniors off the top of my head. You have, Rachel Roebuck, who up front was just incredible. But Mia Bernard, who's a junior, kind of the heart of the midfield, but she can also defend, but she can also attack. She wears that captain's armband with pride. So for her to return for, next season to work with Hedlund and whoever else they get. They had a lot of, younger players. You look at Vanderveer and Honest and even in goal with Hicks Bishop or Alina Arneth. So they're going to take this extra time since they, didn't make it to the playoffs, which shout out UTSA, the eventual champions.
It's crazy. They beat
game.
Memphis in the championship, right? Or was it the round before the championship?
I believe it was the round before.
They beat them in PKs. Yeah, crazy.
But, yeah, so for them to really, get all the feedback that they need from this season to prepare and train. And then now with all the recruiting, they've signed a bunch of new players. They got someone from Colorado, which I'm actually interested to see how she'll do because that's a whole different climate and environment.
Yeah.
They'll...
This Texas heat ain't no joke.
Exactly. But, yeah, they're saying goodbye to Roebuck, Summer Brown, who's been at this program as well for a while. Abby Major, big defender for them. She was here for... I believe 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
And Peyton Renfro as well, kind of someone that Hedlund utilized as more of a super sub or as a refresher. But yeah, you look at people that are coming back, Bushko. Hopefully she comes back from the injury. She's been dealing with that a bit. And then Lily Cunningham as well. So a lot of fundamental pieces are still there. And as well as players who have gotten those minutes. So we'll see how they recoup and do next year.
Yeah. And obviously you have those players. And I think if you're... your hope is that they don't leave and transfer outright because now that your coach is leaving following that season, especially if you're a sophomore or a junior and you're going to have one more year under your belt. Following that year, you might want to see if you can get to another team, especially if you're a player like Niedermeyer or Bushko, someone who has had success in the past and can maybe contribute on another team. Mia Bernard's not going anywhere, though.
No.
Yeah, because in Haley Stump's profile on her, a big section of it was how her and Hedlund have a fantastic connection, and timing was perfect. Hedlund gets to finish out his career. They both get to finish out their careers together. She graduates the year he retires, so they have a big connection there. But yeah, if they're able to bring back those pieces, I think you see this team get a lot of spark. I think Hedlund will probably put in as much as he can, coaching wise, knowing that this is last year. And as we've kind of touched on all year on this team, you have good pieces. It's not a bad team.
No.
You have the ability to go out and win these games. It's just an unlucky season. Now, obviously, you lose a lot of people on your back line, a lot of big seniors defensively wise, but you have a lot of people to supplement that. Obviously, you have Vanderveer, Bushko, Cunningham, and those 5 freshmen coming in. So you're going to have people to supplement it. You have the pieces you're bringing back. You're bringing back your 2 goalies, and hopefully in Alina Arnett. I'm saying bringing back like I know it's going to happen. But you're hopefully bringing back Alina Arnett and Hicks Bishop. So if I were to guess, I think they hopefully have a better season next year. There's just a lot of unluck this year. First losing season in his career. We'll get into just talking about him in a minute because holy crap, he has so many accolades. Yeah. But yeah, if I had to guess, I think they probably have a better season next year. All your players are going to be a little older, a little wiser. I'm sure Hedlund is going to be doing as much as he can to make sure he wins, especially with Mir Bernard and with this team because he cares about his teams and each team he coaches.
Yeah, and especially for the players that have experienced kind of the ups and downs. So you look at Mir Bernard, who's, when they qualified for the playoffs, were a first-round exit. But then now that you contrast that with this season, I think that's more desire to come back because they've seen how low they can go, but how high they can fly.
Ooh, I like
bars.
That.
Wow.
Bars. Get him in the studio.
That's more motivation. And then you have someone like Hedlund, which we just talked about, Dave Fleming. Hedlund's also that, that father figure that, when we talk about him, all the accolades, he's a winning coach, a historical coach at North Texas. So you want to play for the badge and play for Hedlund in his last season, for you to go out with a dub and for Hedlund to go out on a high as well.
Yeah. Just to touch on Hedlund, for just a little background on him, go read Haley Stumm's articles, like 3,000 words. Yes. I say articles, it's an essay. It's a full-on essay on this man. Fantastic, so much information. Just some quick notes. He started the program back in 1995, so he's literally the godfather of UNT women's soccer. He's been here since then for 32 years, leading the program. One of the most successful coaches in NCAA women's soccer history. He ended this last season with 406 wins, which is 9th all-time for coaches. Guided the Mean Green to 16 conference championships, 9 regular season titles, and 7 league tournament championships, including a school record 6 consecutively, 7 NCAA tournament appearances, and had no losing seasons in his first 30 years at the helm. So this year was his first losing season. Yeah, I think bro wants to get back in that winning season column before he retires. I don't know about y'all. Yeah, only 3 other coaches in history have had no losing seasons in 30-plus years. Between him and North Carolina's Anson Dorrance are the only ones to have accomplished that feat at one university. Entering his final season, Hedlund's teams have won nearly 70% of their matches, so he's a 700 winning percentage. So needless to say, my man is a legend here at UNT. So yeah, like you said, Izzy, they're going to play for that badge. The players are, and they're going to stick it out for his last season.
I mean, you look at the last couple games. Obviously, they want to win. They all want to win. But you could tell, the luck of the season just didn't go their way, and they're just ready to, kind of regroup for next year. Because next year is, John Hedlund was thinking about leaving. He's going to retire after next year, and he's just thinking about what can I do for my final year. And you could tell, the vibes around the team were we want to win because we still have a chance, but we are so ready to prove that this year is a fluke.
I think that's good. That's a good transition, Carson. Yeah. So it'll be fun to watch them next year. Unfortunate season for them this year, but we'll see. Glad he's coming back. Glad he didn't just call it cut and quits after this year. So he'll get that. I'm sure he'll be honored literally everywhere he goes on his farewell tournament. So it'll be fun to watch him next year. We'll see how that roster shapes out. But yes, moving into basketball now. Both teams have kind of sigh. Yeah. Both teams have kind of gotten off to icky starts. Men's has struggled slightly more. These two were at the women's basketball game that happened earlier today at 11 a.m. against Abilene Christian. Let's just start it there, why don't we? Let's start with the women's guys. What did we see at this game? What happened? Take me through the emotions.
It was a rough game. Rough game. I think I wrote the recap for it. Lowest first half all year, and then they followed up with even lower second half. So, they set the record twice today. Third least amount of points they scored ever with under Coach Burton in 3 years.
Dang.
And it's they went 1 for 20 from 3.
Thanks.
1 for 20.
And that was an emphasis this offseason was to make sure perimeter shooting was strong.
I mean, their perimeter shooting this year has been fantastic, but you've seen flashes every other game. This game was they could have hit the broadside of a barn. It was. And I think because Burton in the press conference said I think they put a lid on the goal that we were trying to score on because we couldn't hit anything, and that was just how the game went.
Yeah, and it was a low-scoring game, which, if you know anything about women's basketball so far, they've put up 100 twice, 100-plus points twice. So for them to only score half of that this game against someone like Abilene Christian at the Super Pit, your own home court, very off game by women's basketball, but the players as well. So I know they're again gonna recoup, especially with a game like this, as they near conference play starting up really soon. But yeah.
I mean, they're 31-3 under Coach Burton at home, and they lost to Abilene Christian, who is a good team. Like, they're projected to win their conference. They have the Player of the Year, preseason Player of the Year on their team. Like, they're a good team, but like Izzy said, 100 points like twice. Their average margin of victory is like 40 plus, and they lose at home. They're 15-1 against non-conference opponents at home under Coach Burton.
Dang. I mean, bro, he just got his 50th win, right? In that third game. So, yeah. I'm not too worried, though, about either of these teams. I mean, it's still really early in the season, and, has been the storylines behind both of them. Both these teams are new. All of these players are new. I'm sure there's going to be growing pains. I'm sure they're still getting used to the schemes. The women's team is, they've looked good. They had the number 5 scoring offense in the nation going into the day. So probably just a bad, just a rough game for them. Yep. I'm not too worried about them. The men's, however, has looked a little iffy. I know we don't want to get into this, do we? They started off 3-0, but the last 2 games for them have been very rough. So far this year, it's been a tale of 2 halves in each game. There always seems to be one half they just cannot lock in. The first 3 games, it was the first half against teams they should have been dominating. They played New Mexico Highlands, Northwestern State, who they started off slow in the first half in both of them and then ended up carrying it away in the second half. Loyola Chicago obviously won on that buzzer beater by Dylan Arnett. That was everywhere, so a good win there. Loyola Chicago's a good program, so nothing bad there.
They almost blew that game.
Yeah,
they should have.
That's true. That's right.
They shouldn't have been able to win on a buzzer beater. They should have won that handily, but they blew it.
Because the same thing happened with Oregon State, and we didn't get as lucky.
No.
What does this button do again? Oregon State. That's about how we feel about Oregon State, right? Yeah. In case you didn't see, and you live under a rock, called a technical timeout when we had... we called a timeout when we had none left.
The old Chris Webber.
When we had none left, which resulted in a technical foul. Oregon State shot 2 free throws to end the game, and we lost the game by 2 points, right? Yeah, by 2 points. And like you said, we were up that entire first half. We just blew... It shouldn't have even been in that position. No. We just blew the lead the second half.
And surely they did better the next game, right? Come back strong. They did
better the next game. No, not against St. Mary's. We didn't. Got out-rebounded by 30-something. We shot horribly. I don't even remember the stat line. I looked at the box score. I glanced at it. I was like, I don't even want to look at this anymore. We got outscored 47-17 in the first half. So just overall not a pretty performance there. It wasn't ever going to be a pretty game to start because St. Mary's made they made the tournament last year. They're good, but not really what you want to see out of a program that's been historically very, very good. We've kind of been in the golden age of UNT basketball since the Grant McCaslin era, since around 2017, and you definitely want to see that kept up here. It's still early in the season. You can't make any judgments on them, but just the feel and the vibe kind of around those 2 losses has kind of been a little downtrodden. But we'll see.
So this is kind of like we saw with volleyball. It's a new head coach, whole new roster. Literally every single player on the men's team there's no returners. So they're still finding their footing. Basketball is a sport of the players on the court, but then you also have to be able to bring in players off the bench to make an impact. So some players are already kind of making a name for themselves. You kind of look at Stevenson, Shackelford, and Dylan Arnett as well. He's the one who scored that buzzer beater. And then you have others who are still kind of finding their footing. You look at kind of like Reese Robinson, Terrell Jr. So they're kind of figuring it out. But yeah, new head coach after having the Hodge era and the McCaslin era before that. So men's basketball is always a team that you look at with the golden age that have proven themselves, have made it to the playoff matches in the American and when they used to play in Conference USA as well. So they have time. Basketball is a lot of games.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they'll figure it out before conference play.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing, I haven't been watching the games closely, but the biggest thing, we haven't been hitting free throws at all. We're shooting like 70% as a team from free throws, which definitely cannot happen. Obviously, the inconsistency between halves, then kind of inconsistent shooting from the perimeter. You have some guys who go off, like Stevenson, obviously. Will McClendon can shoot, but then sometimes you're not hitting. And if you're not hitting and you're getting out-rebounded like you do because our size is kind of down, Dylan Arnett's kind of our biggest player out there.
Yeah, he's like 6'8".
Yeah, he's 6'8", 6'9". He looks more like a forward than a guy you want kind of playing the paint. So that's definitely going to happen. Now, this team's probably going to have to game plan around. I trust Daniel Robinson to game plan around that, right? I mean, he didn't get 20 wins 3 seasons in a row for no reason. But, yeah, early in the season, not kind of what you want to see. Slow start out of those last 2 games. But they have a really big break here before getting into a pretty favorable part of the schedule. I mean, they play Central Arkansas, and then Eastern Washington, then Prairie View A&M, and then Houston Christian. So that's it's a very favorable 4-game stretch there to hopefully get them on their feet. All at home, too. All of those games are at home. Get them on their feet before a big game against TCU on December 7th. That's gonna be a fun watch there. Hopefully go to that one on a Sunday at 4:30. Oh yeah, I'll be there during winter break.
And just like you mentioned, also that sometimes men's basketball are good in the first half, sometimes men's basketball are good in the second half. Women's basketball is also kind of the same.
Oh yeah, their first quarters are so rough compared to how they finish. It's kind of crazy.
So women's basketball is more of a second half team.
Yeah.
So you look at more like the third and the fourth quarter where they put more points on the board and they shoot more in the paint, a lot more free throws and stuff like that as well. So kind of interesting to see how the momentums are kind of the same for both teams and sometimes how it differs. I don't know if it's better to be a first half team or a second half team, but I think second half you got to clutch up, be the big dog on the court. So.
I would prefer it to be a whole game team. That would be nice.
Ideally, yeah.
That's kind of the way it rolls in basketball, though. It's a game of runs, right? And it's also a sport where you don't take losses to heart as much as you do a game like football because you only have so many games you play at football. And if you lose 2 in college football, you're done. Like your playoff hopes and conference hopes goodbye, basically. But I mean, like you said, Burton's kind of making a joke out of the press conference. They put a lid on the basket, right? So yeah, it's not something you take losses to heart, especially early in the season when you're figuring stuff out. But yeah, I mean, I think men's basketball recovers over these next 4 games. Then they get into TCU. Had a couple more week of non-conference, and they play Memphis on New Year's Eve, which is unfortunate. Then women's basketball, kind of the same thing. Let's pull up their schedule here. Do you have it off the top of your head, Carson?
Yes, I do. They're at SMU on Saturday, which is a big game. And then they're at St. Mary's, which I don't think is...
I think it's a tournament.
It's a tournament.
The Hoop Fest Women's Basketball Challenge.
Yeah, it's in Frisco.
In the Comerica Center.
Yes.
On Flow Sports.
And they play Texas Tech the next day. But then they are here, right, against Oklahoma State, which is ranked.
That's a big 3-game stretch. 4-game stretch.
If they come out of that stretch above 500, like if they get two wins out of those 4 games, maybe 3 wins, that could really be telling about how the rest of the season goes. Yeah,
and they play Illinois not too long after that as well. Santa Clara was pretty, that's a rough non-conference. That's kind of what we were talking about in an earlier episode about the schedule. This non-conference schedule is kind of tough. Yeah, like you said, I'd be surprised if we came out 2-2 at the end of this one. Play SMU, who's really good. They have Kyla Deck, who's on the team last year. She's second in points for them. St. Mary's, obviously not the men's team type of stuff, but still good. Texas Tech, Oklahoma State, who's number 18. So big stretches for these teams. It'll probably toughen them up, too.
Yeah.
Iron sharpens iron.
I mean, that's what – because I've been in both games. That's what both coaches mentioned, how they specifically schedule these out-of-conference schedules so they could get better and improve before they could – because college basketball is all about conference play, especially when you're a team like UNT where they're not going to get an at-large bid probably. Mm-hmm. They just never will. But they could absolutely win the American this year.
Yeah.
Like any year. Any year a team could win the conference tournament and make it into March Madness, and that's all they're looking forward to.
Yeah, because those non-conference losses don't affect your net rankings as much, especially when you're playing high, strong teams. When it gets into conference is what matters. Yeah, like you said, Carson. So,
and women's basketball, I mean, in the American, they've had success. We obviously look at the 2024 season and just the players that they've had historically, but like Tamisha Lampkin, amongst others. But now you kind of look at previewing them. Andy Sisler, Owens Barnett has also been good. Chase was on that court.
13 rebounds tonight as a 5'7" guard.
Yeah,
Dang.
a 5'7" guard who's very good at rebounds. And then, on the subject of rebounds, you have Tiana Lidge from El Paso, Texas. I had to get my hometown mentioned in there
Had to throw that in there.
as well. And even her kind of counterpart, Megan Nestor.
Yeah.
They both kind of play in that same position, a lot of rebounds. But then even you also look at the young talent that they have. Allison Rickman, who was injured, played some minutes today as well. So an experienced team, but a new team, but they have some youngsters as well. So kind of interesting to compare and contrast these the men and the women's team. And Cherie Spencer did pretty solid today as well, and that's a freshman guard. And then your returners, you look at Shania Price, who's been getting a lot of minutes. Jalen Talley, who's kind of the heart in the middle as well. She never backs down, so that as well.
I mean, the contrast between experience on both the men's and women's team is kind of like crazy because like the men's team has experience. They're at Cleveland State, obviously. A lot of them were, and then they have like Buddy Hammer averaged like a double-double at in Oklahoma at JUCO, like Dylan Arnett, career winner at Cleveland State. But like the women's team, it kind of feels like this is like they're building something. The men's team feel like they're kind of trying to figure out who they are because of the new coach. But the women's team, they have multiple conference champions on their program from like Tiana Lidge and a couple others, and they have JUCO national champions. They have players that all transferred in because they want to be a part of something that Coach Burton is building. And then the men's team is like they're trying to figure out how to build to get to that point.
Yeah, they're all kind of growing into the American Conference type of scenario, right? Yeah.
So Coach Burton, who's been here a while, has the 50 plus wins as a coach. Yeah, already the program you're getting into with him, with Coach Robinson, new head coach. You're helping him be a building block, setting the foundation for men's basketball. So very interesting teams to again look at individually and kind of as a whole, but they completely different from each other, which is kind of a good thing. So hopefully men's basketball can kind of find that identity in the why soon, and women's basketball can just kind of reach their flow state as they
Flow state, as they say.
flow state as they say on the TikToks. But yeah,
Yeah, because men's basketball, they haven't been in this position in a while because, like, obviously Ross Hodge was assistant under the Castlin.
Yeah.
So, like, they haven't – it's an all-new roster, all-new coaching staff. But, like, last couple of years, it was not really a new team because Coach Hodge was so experienced at UNT already. And they're trying to get to that point where they can start actually building a program here now.
Yeah, it's just kind of the unfamiliarity of like
Yeah.
the team because like you said, Hodge was a McCaslin disciple, and there's kind of like the aura they had. Obviously, McCaslin's kind of different than Hodge, but Hodge was super energetic on the sideline, and the guy fans kind of connected with because he'd come up and high five you, and he'd get involved with fans too. So it was kind of something you felt you could connect with the team.
Yep.
And now that he's gone, I think Virginia Tech's like 5-0 now. So shout out him, he's doing really good over there. Or West Virginia, he's a West. I keep mixing those up.
Yeah, they're
Dang it.
West Virginia. They look legit.
They do look good. Brendan Lawrence averaging like 13 over there. Shout out them. But
Shout out,
it was kind of something you felt you could connect with Hodge, and still early in the Robinson era. So you're kind of trying to find that identity, something fans can latch on to. Say, okay, what's the identity of this team? We have all these new hodgepodge players from all these different places. They're still trying to find their footing on the court. Still early to tell. Still earlier in the season, but we'll see how that shapes out.
but the men's team for sure, you can tell they're sold on North Texas and on Robinson.
Yeah, no, they're here to play.
They're here to play for Robinson and for the Mean Green because, especially someone like Arnett, when the whole buzzer beater, like that team was hyped. And Robinson, the couple games I've been to for the men's, he's also very vocal on the court. He's kind of a more old-fashioned coach in the sense that he's gonna like yell at you like.
He's
really
more.
loud.
I feel like he's more stoic than Ross Hodge.
Yeah, he's much more of a modern coach that you see. Kind of they're younger guys, obviously. Not to say Raj is an older guy. Hodge is an older guy, but yeah, he's a younger guy, kind of a former player who's very more like motivational speaker-y,
Yeah.
and not like old coach with a gut who will like yell in your face and like discipline you to do things right.
When you could hear Coach Hodge, whenever he was mad, even though he's
Oh,
squatting over,
he
you could hear him
slammed the floor.
two blocks away. That's how, even if they're doing something well, when he's setting up the offense, he's yelling their name out like there's no tomorrow.
He was slam the floor. He squats, bro. It's so funny. It was so funny watching him on the sidelines. It's a different approach. Something UNT fans will have to get used to. But we hired him for a reason, and Jared Mosley makes good hires. So just about fleshing out, right? Yeah. Anything else y'all have for basketball?
I mean, I am really excited to see how they do. They both have emphasized that they're ready for adversity. That's why they scheduled the out of conference. They want these losses so they can see how they rebound. And if they put on a bad showing tomorrow against Arkansas State, like if they're slow again in the first half, then you might slowly have to start pressing the panic button. Same thing with women's, not so much because I trust Coach Burton a lot more than Robinson just because he's been here longer. But it'll be interesting to see how they come back after, because that St. Mary's game was
bad.
It was rough.
That was a rough road trip. You almost went 0-3. You're lucky you got that buzzer beater in the
and they should have won that Oregon State game.
Yeah. Yep.
And they shouldn't have had to win on a buzzer beater against Loyola. They should be in a good position right now, but they're not.
Yeah. I think that TCU game will be very telling because at that point, you hopefully have garnered up some momentum from these 4 games that you should easily be winning. But if you struggle again in that game kind of on neutral territory, it's not even really an away game, that'll definitely be kind of telling. And then you go throughout that month of December and then into conference play. So we will monitor that situation as that keeps going on. Fun episode, guys. Thank you guys for coming on.
Thank you.
Thank you to the listeners because we talked a lot.
There's so much to talk about.
There was so much to talk about where we closed the page on women's soccer for sure.
Yeah.
Volleyball is gonna play in the tournament, and then we're gonna start looking more at football, as well as college playoff, American Conference Championship. Hopefully, not even hopefully, knowfully they're gonna make it there. But exciting. This November stretch, like we always talk about, so many sports start up, so many sports end.
Yeah.
So a lot of mean green sports. Like I think there's like a game like every day, basically.
When the basketball seasons start, it's just constant stuff all the time.
So enjoy watching volleyball, women's basketball, men's basketball, and football. It's crazy.
The football is great. Yeah, tune into that volleyball game on Friday. It's a fun thing to watch, especially now they're in the tournament. Definitely tune into it, see how they do. They have to play Rice. That'll probably definitely be a good game. Game against Wichita State will be good as well. Obviously, watch football taking on Rice. Will not be an episode next week because day before Thanksgiving break, we're not going to be here. But then we'll have an episode come out after that, kind of recap the last 2 weeks of that as well. Recap 3 weeks here, guys. Once again, great job. I think we did a great job today. But yeah, that is all for this episode of the Daily Sports Bar Podcast. Thank you guys for tuning in once again today, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace out.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Yes. Gobble gobble.
Go Mean Green.